Welcome to the Pharmacy Inspection Podcast, powered by LyceumCE.com, where we discuss topics related to both sterile and non-sterile compounding pharmacy in an effort to promote compliance and increase quality. Please welcome your hosts, Brian Prince and Seth DePasquale.
Hello, my fellow compounding friends and colleagues. This is Seth DePasquale. I'm going to be talking today about something that maybe is a little bit controversial, but has been brought up at the last public forum that the USP had in regards to the appeals to 795 and 797. And that's talking about shared stability studies, or using a shared database of stability studies that multiple pharmacies could share amongst themselves. And I have to say that it seems like that the USP committee members and the FDA were somewhat receptive to this idea, but it definitely warrants more talking about. Just so we're on the same page, when we refer to stability of a drug product, we're actually talking about 5 different types of stability. And I'm getting this directly from USP Chapter 1191, Stability Considerations in Dispensing Practice. So here they are, the 5 types of stability. There's chemical, physical, microbiological, therapeutic, and toxicological. And so one of the major things that was brought up, so if you're using the same stability studies and all things are equal, you have the same USP graded ingredients, you have the same container closure, the same stopper, the same vial, the same seal, is all being utilized at the 2 different locations. But the one caveat is that are the same process controls in place to show that the environment is the same at both places? So are we doing the same environmental monitoring? Are we testing the operators? Are they going through the same training? Are they doing the same glove, fingertip, and thumb testing on the same schedule? Are you doing in-process monitoring of your environment? Meaning, are you doing viable sampling during the compounding process? Are you doing post-compounding sampling of your operators? Are you doing non-viable particle counting during the compounding process? So this is the major concern that the FDA has. But I think the one concern that the FDA has could actually be mitigated. Let's think about generic manufacturers for a second. So throughout the world, there are several manufacturers at any given time making the same product. So how is it that they're able to maintain control over their environment equal to or above that of their competitors to the point that the FDA doesn't have this concern? So the answer to that, in my opinion, is having a more robust environmental monitoring plan and more quality programs in place to ensure that the sterility of the preparation will be the only way to mitigate some of these concerns of the FDA regarding sterility. But the sterility seems to be the tripping point that the FDA has. So the quality systems that are all in place that at each of the facilities, like I just mentioned, generic manufacturers, the quality system framework that the FDA goes by for inspecting these manufacturers is that they have facility and equipment controls, laboratory controls, materials controls, labeling and packaging controls, production controls, and overall quality controls. So this is how the FDA inspects all facilities based on this model of quality systems. What 503A pharmacies really lack is an overall quality system for their materials, facilities and equipment, and production systems. But let's stay on track here with trying to mitigate the main concern of the FDA, sterility. A shared environmental monitoring plan with the collection of data and acceptable criteria and limits would need to be set by both pharmacies in order to share a stability study. And I think that's worthy of more discussion. I definitely think it's interesting to have a shared database to cut down on the cost of these stability studies. What we're talking about is studies that cost upwards of $20 to $30, even $50,000 for multiple ingredient stability study. So, it's something definitely worth talking about amongst the pharmacies themselves, of course, and actually getting a little bit of cooperation between pharmacies that are maybe even competitors, but for the greater good of the patient to have this data to show that their products are stable up until a certain beyond use date, and that all the same process controls are in place. So, yeah, I think this is such a novel idea, worth a heck of a lot more discussion. I hope that in the next committee meetings and in any other forums that they have to come, that the USP and the FDA talks about this again and again, and perhaps we can figure out a way to share stability data across the board safely and to the point where everyone is utilizing the same process controls. Like I said, the main thing being environmental monitoring and sterility concerns. So, but I wonder if you're doing this, if you are doing something like this, like you're sharing a stability study with another pharmacy, or you're getting a stability study from a database. I'd love to hear what that's about, and if you are doing it successfully, and if any state regulator has been in to see what you're doing and what they perhaps said. So definitely, if you're doing something like this, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Seth at lyceumce.com is where you'd reach me. Seth, again, SETH at Lyceum, LYCEUMCE.com is where you'd reach out to me. And please share your thoughts, especially if you're doing something like this, or if you're interested in doing something like this. I don't name names or anything like that when I talk about other pharmacies. So if you do write to me, don't be afraid that I'm going to bring up your name on the podcast or in a post or anything like that. Anonymity is always a concern. So, but anyway, again, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And until next time, keep raising the bar, and have a great week.
The Pharmacy Inspection Podcast is powered by LyceumCE.com, where you can find engaging video-based continuing education programs, as well as a social community for pharmacists and technicians. Join one of the discussion groups or forums and post your questions to the group. Lyceum CE, where fun CE gets done.